All right, it's 5 o'clock here in Copenhagen. Hi, I'm back. It's me again. I'm here to talk about AI models again. I'm Katrine. I'm the CMO here with Pixelz. I'm joining you live from our Copenhagen office this afternoon. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, if you met me at one of the events, or if you were part of our previous webinar, you know I like to talk about AI models a lot. So just a tiny bit of admin before we get started. We do have the comment section of the chat up here on the right-hand side. This is where you can drop all your comments, any questions, and we'll do our very best to get back to you on all of that by the end of this webinar. Today, we're going to start out with a short intro. We'll then jump into a demo where we'll spend most of the time today. And after that, we'll get back to the questions. But we're not just here today because I like to talk about AI models. We're here because it seems like the entire industry is talking about AI models. Today, I've got Jakob Østerby with me live from our Berlin office. Please join me up here on stage. Jakob, welcome. Jakob is our Chief Operating Officer here at Pixelz. And Jakob, tell me, why are you joining me here today?
Well, first of all, I always enjoy spending time with you, Katrine. But besides that, I think this is a topic that's super interesting, and I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm very happy to follow up on the session that you have a few weeks ago with Carlos and Kevin. It's nice to see some familiar faces on the chat as well. And then, I mean, I had the pleasure of presenting around this topic at Flow North America some weeks back, and it was really amazing to see the buzz that we saw during the event and also after the event. So I think there's a lot to cover, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. And Jakob, just a few words about like why did we here at Pixelz, why did we start exploring AI models?
Right. I mean, just in general, we're always looking at what's moving in the industry, right, and figuring out what are the current and future needs of our clients, and to a very large extent, that's something that dictates our product development. We've been looking into AI models and virtual models in general for a while, and we've really intensified that over the last year or so. Alongside the interest of the industry, and of course the development of the tech as well. And I think maybe important to say that there's so many use cases within this field. Today we're going to be focusing on the e-com side of things, but there's really other areas that I'm sure there's going to be other webinars covering. And in general, there's just so many interesting use cases, but there's also a lot of questions to be answered. And my goal is that we're able to answer a few of them today.
Yes, because there are so many different use cases when it comes to AI models. And before we start talking about the use cases that we typically encounter here at Pixelz, we just really love to see what you guys, everyone who's joining the webinar today, which use cases you've been considering when thinking about AI models. So we got a small poll that we'd love to bring up here on the screen. So which use case is most relevant for you and your team? And you can vote for more than just one of the options here. So are you looking to elevate the PDP? Maybe you're looking to add AI models to categories where you don't currently have any on-model images. Is it a cost thing, looking to save some budget, switching from real models to AI-generated models? Are you trying to add additional content? Could be creating lifestyle images from product that you've already shot in the studio. Or maybe you're looking at video production, at transforming images into video content. And I see we have some of the results coming in. So it looks like we've got more votes at this. Well, it's actually pretty even. It's interesting, but we do have more votes leaning toward the actually elevating the PDP and being able to add AI models to categories where you don't have any on-model imagery today. And Jakob, How does that align with, I think, what we're seeing in the industry in general and what we're typically approached with here at Pixelz?
I mean, I will say that it's actually impressively even when you look at the three other options as well. And I think that is also what we're seeing. We're seeing different use cases, and I will say I'm very happy to see that it's the kind of the value mindset around this that is the focus here, and like elevating the PDP and seeing the opportunities in that, and not just the cost side. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that is not thinking that is interesting from a cost perspective, but there really are a lot of different use cases, and these are the main ones that we're seeing. I think there's also some very specific use cases that we're seeing, and that we've particularly been involved with as projects for some clients, like a rebrand of a website where you're overhauling the assets and want to create a different aesthetic, or you have model rights that are expiring, but you still have stock, but we can't justify doing a reshoot. So you want to get AI models instead of the models you have in there. So those are some of the very concrete examples that we've dealt with.
Yep. And I think at this point, right, I think we've all tried it. We all played around with some fancy new AI tool, that'd be Midjourney, Firefly, maybe ChatGPT, whatever it is, right? We all created a model that looks all right, probably dressed her, and honestly, it's kind of fun, right? And it's doable. I mean, the tech is here. As long as it's only one model that we're creating, or maybe even one campaign, right? It's something that we can all do. The real challenge, and that's why we're here today, right? The real challenge is when it comes to e-commerce, that scalability, and is fitting the AI outputs into an existing high-volume e-com workflow. Because the truth is, what the AI tool spits out, I mean, that's very rarely PDP ready. So good question now is, how do we go from AI output to PDP ready imagery? And that's where we can help here at Pixelz. And Jakob, it's what we're going to focus on for the rest of the time here today. So why don't you take it away? Why don't you walk us through how we can do that in much more detail?
Sure thing. I will do that. Let me just go ahead and share here. All right. I hope you guys will be seeing my screen fairly soon.
I can definitely see your screen.
Excellent. I think, I mean, to your point, Katrina, I think what we've kind of been working on and refining for the last 10 years at Pixelz is building out a hybrid workflow where you're pushing technology as far as you can, and adding human talent in the loop where they can bridge the tech versus the requirements of the clients, and then get the best of both worlds. And I think that the same is the case for what we're seeing with AI models. I think a lot of it is good, and I think everybody can go in and create a product or a few products that look great. But doing that within a workflow and process that fits with what they're doing today, or doing it across 100 SKUs, 200 SKUs a day is a very different beast. And that's what we're trying to address at Pixelz to help our clients do just that. Good. Just a disclaimer for some of the people that were also in New York. You may be seeing some of the same slides as we were looking at over there. And I think what we want to show you now is what we saw before, and I'll just go back for a sec here, is a snapshot of some of the work that we've done. And what we want to do is to try to really drill into just some specific use cases, and look at how you can go from something as simple, not to take anything away from a pack shot or go shot like this, and how you can create something like this, and how you can do it within a single process or within a single tool. This is really what we're working on at Pixelz, is to be able to take goes mannequin shot and create a number of assets that fits with what the brand is trying to achieve, and that can help them maybe elevate the PDP as we just saw a lot of people being interested in. All right, so if we are to drill down, in this case, we have a client that is sending us a front shot, back shot of a mannequin shot, and what we want to do with that is to run it through a series of processes within our system. So it could be anything from the tools that we already have in place. It could be that we have a third-party partner that we're leveraging, depending on what we're trying to solve here. So in this case, we're running multiple processes. Some of them are going to be simultaneous. Some of them are going to be dependent on a previous process. In this case, again, we're running it through a standard retouch process. We're running it through a virtual model process. We're running it through virtual backgrounds, and then again creating a 3D model out of this. So really trying to integrate Gen AI, like best-in-class Gen AI tools, on top of what we already have in our system. Good. So what does that look like from a production perspective? So in this case, we receive a raw ghost shot being shot again in the studio, and basically what we're going to treat this like we would do in a normal circumstance. So we will be sending it through our system where we're doing a number of different processes. What you see is the green ones are the ones that are either fully or partially automated within our production system. But you'll send it through, and you'll get anything from your file prep, your props detection, symmetrizing, shaping. There's some cleanup, garment retouch, color matching, etc. So you'll basically do the post production retouching as you would normally do. And in the normal scenario, this will be your endpoint, and it's ready for web. And what's interesting here is that now, instead of this being the endpoint, it also serves as the starting point for creating a new asset. And in this case, we want to look at creating a virtual model. So comp it onto both creating a virtual model and then comping it onto a virtual model. So here we have to, of course, make some decisions, or the client has to make some decisions, so that we get something that fits with our brand guidelines and our aesthetic. So we need to make some decisions on what type of model we want to use, what pose we want to use, what is the environment, styling, meaning outfits. And in a lot of tools, you can go in and do that today, and do that on an ad hoc level, on a product level. And of course, that may work if you're not doing this at scale. But again, if we're down to doing this across maybe 100 SKUs a day, this is something that needs to be set up in a scalable and repeatable process, just like we would do with a retouch standardization today. So what we do with our client is that we actually build a workflow into what we call a template, where all of these things are predefined. So we know exactly what models we're using for brand X, and we know what posts we're going to be using, and you can basically split this down into brands, sub-brands, categories, etc. So you can go very granular on how you want to address it, so you can customize it. Good. So again, a few examples of what this could look like in this particular use case. We need to make some decisions. Again, we want to do that up front, so that when the input image is uploaded into the system, we know exactly what needs to go on with it. It can basically automatically go into production and being produced according to the standard of the client. So moving on, now we have our raw AI model based on what we just configured. And then we need to, of course, still do our post-production. But before we get to that, we actually have a different step in the process than we would normally do. We have what we call an aesthetic review in the process. That's a new thing that we have specifically for AI models. So we'll have some specialists with a trained eye looking at the image, making sure that nothing sticks out, that everything makes sense, from everything from obviously. Does the model look right? How's the lighting? All those things that we need to make sure that that fits the target. Of course, some of them are things that can be fixed in post, even if it's a little bit off. And then there are some things that are absolutely not fixable in post. And I know that Katrine, it's almost a passion of yours to be talking about some of these AI issues. So maybe you want to talk over the next couple of slides here.
Right. And as we just talked about, right, we've all played around with some of this. And I'm sure we all ended up with something like this, right? I think what we have here is a bit of a Ryan Gosling lookalike with a very interesting choice of footwear. And I hope this is not a new trend. And then on the left-hand side, we have what I think is like it's a pretty good looking model, but her thumb has somehow merged with the elbow. Yeah, I think we've all tried to get some of the outputs out like this. And let's say this is definitely not web ready, right? And this is where and this is part of that new aesthetic review step, would probably just start over, prompt again, and hope for a better output next time. This is probably not worth fixing in post. But then if we jump to the next slide, now we're getting a little bit closer to something that's usable. What we have here is like, we've got that shirt that's like half tucked in the back, or is it half turning into a cape? Maybe this is fixable in post. I guess it kind of depends on your brand, your aesthetic, and your quality standards. But moving on to the next slide.
And maybe I can just add to that, Katrine, because I think that's an important part what you mentioned there. Like there's also not a one size fits all with this, just like there isn't for retouching. Like, you know, a retouching aesthetic for brand A would not be the right thing for brand B, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just different. And I think in this case, this is going to be good enough for some, and it's going to be a glaring mistake for others that need to be rectified. And that's again aligning on what is the expectation and then building that into a standard into the workflow, so that it doesn't have to come back to the client and they would have to be revisiting that and rejecting it. So
yeah, and so it's not something that we do picture image by image, right? But it's built in.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. Now this slide here, now we've got something good to work with, right? I think the initial output here, it's really good. The models look good, but I mean, still not PDP ready. But that's like your standard photo shoot, right? You still need your normal post-production for this. Here, I think we definitely want to do some color correction, probably some shaping as well. But that's very similar to what you would do for a regular shoot. You'll send it off to post. And that brings me back to you, Jakob.
Okay, that's a good segue. And yeah, like you're saying, I mean, here again, nothing new. If you're shooting something in the studio, you're going to get something that you probably want to be running through post. The same thing goes for an AI model. It's still, you still want to do your shaping, you still want to do your garment retouch. You want to do, we want to be working on the model, the colors, and so on, just like you would do in any other case. So I think what we're getting typically out of again, it's varying, right? The level but in general, what we're getting out of the model at this point is fairly close to what you do when shooting in the studio. And basically, at the end of the process, you have a final AI model that's web ready at this point. And then you could say, once you go through all these different processes, you end up with this. This is the endpoint. You can see we have a few different. I don't know if the video is playing here. Don't think it is. Let's see.
I think it is.
Anyway, okay, great. Maybe just not my screen, but anyway, that's good. As long as you can see it, I'm happy. But anyway, so we end up like we're starting with our 2 ghost mannequin shots. You can see they're still in here. We still want them on the PDP, the descriptive images. Then we've got a 3 what is like studio shot in studio images. We've got a more lifestyle image that we've then used to create a short video. We've got a 3D asset, and then we've got our copywriting and text on the right hand side. So you really have what can be mimicking what you want on your PDP. Okay, and again, just like in the normal process, we're now ready to send this wherever it needs to go, whether that's straight to site, whether it's into some of your workflow tools, whether it's to your PIM/DAM, CMS, cloud storage, or wherever it's needed. There's really no difference in the process. The difference is just that you get an asset that is ready instead of having to maybe pull it down from some tool and upload it to another tool and review it in Bridge or in Photoshop or wherever. So again, trying to centralize things and have it in one place, so that from uploading an asset until publish or until delivery, you can really manage the process in one place. And if we are then to pull away the curtain for what this looks like, this is kind of the processes and sub processes that we have going on to get to this point. And I think, like I said in the beginning, it's not a question if AI can create a great image. It absolutely can, and it can also create multiple great images. But really, to make it scalable in a live production environment is a very different thing. And it's so difficult to create consistency across different production types and different product categories. And oftentimes you may be using some of the AI outputs, the AI assets, alongside assets that are created in the studio, or or some lifestyle shots, and you need to be able to create and handle that in an environment, so you get the consistency across the different productions. So I actually don't think we should consider that much different than just another way of producing assets. And I think being able to handle that in a scalable fashion is really tricky, and that's what we're working on trying to solve. I mean, there's so many things to consider, matching angles, lighting, colors, etc. And again, not having to do it across several tools. That's the goal, and that's the mission that we're on here. And again, I want to mention that with this, we're leveraging a lot of the tech that we've been building for the last 10 years, and they really go hand in hand well with some of the new Gen AI tools, and we are constantly vetting the market and some of the tools that are out there to see what can add value to our clients, what can we integrate into our existing solution to make it even better for our clients. And so we have a product team that is constantly on the lookout and benchmarking the different types of tools, so that we can offer it to our clients in the platform. That's our goal.
All right. Thank you so much, Jakob. Now we've seen how we can create several types of content from just one original image. We've seen how we take that AI-generated output and make it PDP ready. Now, can you talk just a little bit about how this solution actually works for our clients today?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we've been testing it out for a while with clients, and the way that we do it right now is that we don't have this all built into beautiful interfaces and UIs in our platform right now. That is still something that we have to talk to the client about, really understanding what is their endpoint. And I actually think that's sometimes something people forget, like using virtual models or any type of AI is not an excuse to not think about how you're going to use the assets that you're creating. It's the exact same thing. You need to start from the desired output and work your way back and see how you can leverage AI in that process. So we have a lot of conversations with our clients around that and really figure out what are they trying to achieve, where are they going to use the assets, and then how can we set up a process that really works well for them, taking into consideration, of course, the specific needs of that client. And then we set it up in our system. We agree on the workflow, how assets are going to be uploaded, whether that's a simple FTP solution, whether it's through some of the existing integrations that are in place. And then again, they'll eventually be able to get it back in the platform. They'll be able to review the image they get back. They'll be able to reject it if there's things that they feel is a little bit off. I do think that we're probably going to be seeing a slightly higher rejection rate from our clients on some of this, because there's just going to be there's going to be more nuance in the output. Like we saw the one with address, maybe that's a bit of extreme cases, but there's going to be so many of those in betweens that where we probably going to need a little bit more time to dial things in on what is the standard. But I think that's a natural thing, and just have a part of the learning loop that you have. So having these conversations with our clients and then running a test and figuring out if this is something that they actually want to go into live production with. So that's kind of how we go about it. And of course, I don't want to put our product team and our development teams in front of me here, but we have a lot of stuff brewing right now around this, and there will be a lot of things that are going to be integrated and be accessible to our clients going forward as well.
Perfect. Anything else, Jakob, that you think is important to add here to this conversation before we jump over into any questions there might be?
No, I think just one thing. I think it's super important that to understand that everybody, that we're all trying to figure this out, how to do this at scale. And I'm not saying that what we have right now is perfect, but I think for every use case that we're seeing, and I think we're getting quite close. But what I'm actually trying to say is that I think you have some brands that are very far along with this. We're seeing campaigns from Mango and so on that have this as a strategic focus for them, that they want to be relevant, they want to be testing this, they want to be showing this, and then you're seeing others that can't do any of this because it's blocked by the legal department and so on. So we're seeing so many different trajectories in this process, and I just encourage everybody to stick their toes in the water and start getting their hands dirty with this stuff. And even if they're not able to implement it right now, start figuring out what it can do for you. And it doesn't have to be with Pixelz, but it could be somewhere else. But like, I think just starting, you don't really understand the capabilities and the opportunities that you have unless you start working with it. And so you kind of need to start getting your hands dirty if you don't have already.
I very much agree, Jakob. And and it's something I've been quite vocal about, I think it's so important that this is also being driven from within the studio with the studio teams, because like that innovation, it really needs to sit where all the creatives, they're already sitting, right? The people who know what they're talking about. So it's not being pushed onto the studio team from somewhere else in the company. So good one.
You can't just hack it, right? It's not like it's not just that's not how it works. It's another tool, and it's a fantastic tool. It has a lot of potential. We saw the use cases earlier in the session, right? But it's not like you can just ask somebody from HR to go in and create the next campaign. It's just not how it works. But I think people realize that after the initial scare of people thinking that they're going to lose their jobs, and so I think people see that it needs to be a collaborative effort, and is another tool. It's a very different tool, but it's just another tool in the toolbox that can make everybody do even better work.
Absolutely. Anyways, it's time to jump over into the Q&A section. I do see that we are running out of time in about a minute, but I do want us to see if we can get through a few of these questions. Just wanted to say that if someone here needs to jump off, we will be sending out the recording of this webinar later tonight, so you can jump back in. But for anyone who have a few minutes extra left, let's see what we got over here in the Q&A part of of the screen. And we do see a few. And Jakob, I'm gonna start with an easy one first. Point of contact. If we want to learn more about this being a solution for our company, where and how to reach out.
Or you just reach out to Katrine.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I think we'll send out an email after
Yes.
this. I think we normally do that, and there'll be a contact in there. I mean, we have a lot of people that love talking.
Just hit reply on that email, and
Okay.
we'll get back to you. Super easy. So
we have a lot
that
of
was
people that want to talk about it. So no problem.
Or hit me up on LinkedIn. So another good one. Anyways, we've got another one here from, are there any other limitations when using virtual models for certain product types like accessories or oversized items?
Yes, is the quick answer. I think accessories the way I understand it is that you want to, maybe you want to create an outfit, for instance, like that could be an example, where at least a use case that we've seen is that you have your outfit. The main product is a shirt, and you want to create the outfit. Right now, there's some limitations to what you can do with AI. It's not going to be great if you want to combine a necklace or a handbag and so on. But again, this is where the power of the hybrid model comes in, because, and I'm sorry to say this, but AI is not the solution to everything. AI solves a lot of use cases, but many other use cases, other tech is much better at solving that. And I would just say, like, if you have specific needs for like very specific outfits, you want to combine accessories, if you want to add earrings or a handbag or whatever it is, I would rely on other tech for that and traditional post-production. But again, you can predefine that, so that just becomes part of, you can leverage AI and push it as far as you can, and then have a composite step in your hybrid model before you have a final asset delivery. So again, it doesn't have to be one or the other, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Got another good one here. Can virtual models be combined with real model photography, or is it better to use one or the other?
With real model photography, I'm not sure I understand exactly what that means. It can be combined with real model photography. I'm not going to try to guess. I don't know if somebody can elaborate on what is meant there. Otherwise, you can write it. We'll get back to you. I'm not sure I understand the question.
No. Are the AI models? Does the AI models require retouching and post-production work in all cases?
Again, it depends on your at your desired input, right, and your aesthetic. In my opinion, in the vast, I mean, from our clients that are typically not looking for this, I don't know, quick and dirty, that maybe that's not fair, but there's always things that needs to be attended to. And I think there's obvious things like colors that are pretty much always off. There's a lot around shaping and so on that you want to be having a look at. So from my perspective, from the typical client of ours, they can't live with what comes out right now. They need to have go through post production, and oftentimes it's also just, again, one part of the production. So maybe we're creating let's say 5 model shots shot in studio, but then you have a video on the side, and maybe you have another one where you need to have, for instance, color consistency. So yeah, it's seldom that you can avoid it, I would say, at least at this point. But hey, it gets better and better, right? So let's see how it evolves.
Maybe soon. And again, of course, depending on the quality requirements. Right. Let's see, what else do we have here? How do we solve the skin tone? Is there a way to make them look natural?
Again, it also depends a little bit on what is meant with skin tone, because people treat that differently. So it's a little bit hard to.
Skin tone that looks a little like plastic.
Yeah, I think I think there's definitely models that look more natural than others, and I actually even think some of the examples that we showed here, some are definitely where I couldn't tell the difference, and some I could see some things in there that I would either not use that, or I would try to fix it in post. So I think doing a good selection of models up front where you don't have that something that fits with your expectation, and then you can of course do quite a bit of skin tone work in post, and you can also potentially use model references in post production if you want that, so you can have a model library that you're referencing over time as well, so you get the consistency that you want on with skin tone. I hope that answered the question.
And one more here, which I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about. Can you use your own model, face, body, etc.?
Not with what the use case that I presented today. There are other things that we're working on where you may be able to leverage that, but not with what we looked at today. That's not how this tech works.
Next one up here, does the tech handle replicating logos and designs that might be on the garment? Or maybe the better question is, how well does the tech handle that?
Surprisingly well. Something like text and a print on a t-shirt was some of the most tricky stuff for an AI to solve, and I mean, just half a year ago it still looked not great, very inconsistent at best, but it's really coming out very well now. And of course, if you're very specific about it, this is again where the hybrid workflow can come in. You can have some reference. You can comp on your logos and so on if you're very particular about it. And there could also be if it's other products, maybe you're very particular about your metals having a specific color and so on. Where I think if again, depending on your requirements, I think you can leverage take the AI as far as you can, and then fix the rest in retouch.
Yeah, and then running over time here. So I think we just, one last question. Can your platform use curvy AI models?
That's actually a great question, Katrina. I've seen some tests on it. I don't know if it's as good as some of the others. I have to be very honest with you. I think that's a great one to follow up on.
I think that model library, it also has curvy models, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, we do. So okay, so I actually thought it was like their own. But yes, so in the library that we can offer to our clients, there's a big array of different types of models, and including different sizes of models, including curvy plus size models that are in there. So yeah, sorry, I misunderstood that question.
Sure. All right. And I think that's as far as we get today with all the questions that we're seeing here. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you so much for all the questions. I know we haven't been able to get through all of them, but like we said before, we will be sending out the recording in an email later today. Just hit the reply button, send us your questions, and we'll definitely get in touch. Also, I think Julia dropped the link to our AI models landing page in the chat a little bit earlier. If you click through on that page, you'll find even more information. You'll also find a way to reach out to us there. So just make sure to reach out, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Once again, thank you so much to everyone in attendance. If you're in London in a couple of weeks, I really hope I'll see you at the Flow Local that we have coming up. And surprise, surprise, we will be talking even more about AI models at that event. If you're not in London, stay tuned either here for upcoming webinars or come hang out with me over on LinkedIn, where I'll definitely make sure to keep this conversation flowing. Thank you very much. Bye.